Hey, what's up guys? So we're back with more Star Wars content. If you're new channel, welcome. We're going to be checking out another video by DuduFilm. So shout out and credit goes to DuduFilm for the video. And also shout out and credit goes to one of my members. Shout out to Wolves Gaming for recommending this video to me. And this one is called Understanding Character, VALKORIon, TENEBRAE, and VITIATE. Now, I know who VALKORIon is. He is the Sith Emperor during the Old Republic. And he is considered to be one of the most powerful Siths. I may be saying this incorrectly, so please don't come at me. Just correct me in the comments below. So, because like I said, I'm still learning and I'm not an expert. So I just want to be clear on that. I know that VALKORIon is the Sith Emperor and he's very powerful. But what's unique about VALKORIon is the Sith Emperor has the ability to like transfer his like life essence into like other beings. So I'm pretty sure VALKORIon, TENEBRAE, and VITIATE is all the same person, just different bodies. And like I said, one of the most powerful Siths ever. And basically he achieved immortality. So I'm really curious as to see like what this video is about. I mean, it's almost half an hour long. And usually the videos I see by DuduFilm are only like 4 or 5 minutes long. So I'm really curious to see like what this one's all about. So without anything else, let's just jump right into it.
Welcome. In this first episode, I will discuss Tenebrae's character.
Whoa! Wait, we're actually hearing who DuduFilm is? I mean, like that's actually a first for me. Okay, I'm all for it.
Known as VITIATE, Sith Emperor and Valkorion. However, I won't be narrating his backstory or examining his force powers. This series are dedicated to understand certain characters.
I know this is from the Old Republic game.
Moral values and fears. Characters that require more attention and appreciation, or sometimes are misunderstood. I believe Valkorion hasn't been given enough credit for who he is. Not as a powerful force user, but rather as a very complex and fascinating character. Let's put aside a debate if he's the most powerful force user or not, and let's look deeper into his character.
Understanding character, VALKORIon.
First off, all compelling characters should have weakness, like arrogance, fear, vengeance, distrust, and so on.
DuduFilm's really soft-spoken.
Is your weakness.
Your faith in your friends is yours.
Throughout the story, protagonist fails, learns, grows, and overcomes his weakness. And antagonist usually does not. If a bad guy understands what he does is wrong, then a hero has no one to fight against. Therefore, if a villain overcomes his weakness, it happens before he or she is about to die.
You were right. You were right about me.
I alone must accept responsibility.
Oh yeah, Knights of the Old Republic.
And in the end, as the darkness takes me, I am nothing.
Now bear in mind, we're not discussing hero's journey. Therefore, we do not expect Tenebrae's greatest weakness to change. To fully understand Valkorion's weakness, let's look at the movies first. Star Wars has many themes. It's about friendship, family, death, good and evil, hope, love, politics, wars, coming-of-age story, and a lot more. But 3 of these themes are the very core of Star Wars: friendship, family, and death. However, subject of death, or rather fear of death, is the key to understand Valkorion. So I'll start.
Oh yeah.
It is a common flaw for me.
That would make sense considering he keeps on transferring his essence into new bodies and he refuses to die. But I don't think because he has achieved immortality, but because of his great fear of death.
Many characters in other movies and stories as well. Death in Star Wars is explored mostly at the end of each trilogy. Before that, both father and son overcome different flaws. For example, Anakin's weakness in Attack of the Clones is arrogance.
Protection is a job for local security, not Jedi. It's overkill, Master. Investigation is implied in our mandate.
We will do exactly as the Council has instructed, and you will learn your place, young one.
gets punished for it, learns from his mistakes, and in Revenge of the Sith, he has grown as a character.
I've disappointed you.
Yeah.
I haven't been very appreciative of your training. I've been arrogant, and I apologize.
It is only after coming of age story has been completed when both Anakin and Luke have to face last challenge. Both Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith explore death in a different way. And in both movies, Yoda is the one teaching them how to face it.
What must I do, Master Yoda?
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
Master Yoda, you can't die.
Strong am I with the Force, but not that strong. Twilight is upon me, and soon
I saw Return of the Jedi about 3 weeks ago again. Still a great movie.
the way of the Force.
It is where Anakin has failed to overcome his weakness. Luke did the exact opposite.
Just help me save Padme's life. I can't live without her.
By now you must know your father can never be turned from the dark side. So will it be with you.
You're wrong. Soon I'll be dead, and you with me.
Valkorion, though, shares the same weakness as Anakin Skywalker. Fear. Specifically fear of death. Even though Tenebrae sounds confident about controlling death.
Damn, look at that lightsaber. It looks like a dark saber.
There is only the Force, and I am its master.
You would feed on every last
Oh, I am
life
the
in
master of the
galaxy to
Force.
become immortal. I won't let that happen.
I have already cheated death. I have other plans now, as you will see.
You killed every living being here.
They died, opening my eyes to the truth. I have passed beyond death's reach.
It's actually the exact opposite. No one is as afraid of dying as much as Valkorion. Everything he has ever done, all the rituals and wars were to gain enough power to control death and live forever. But
All
why
out of
does he
fear.
fear death? What is Valkorion's motivation for living? This is where I think he stands out, where other villains do not.
You discern a fraction of reality. Beyond these stars exist other galaxies, other worlds, other beings. I will experience or ignore them as I wish. I will spend eternity becoming everything. A farmer, an artist, a simple man. When the last living thing in the universe finally dies, I will enjoy peace and wait for the cycle to begin again.
Valkorion loves life.
That is crazy.
Even though that sounds strange when I say it, it's true. He lived so long that he came to understand what is worth living for, and that's life itself. The joy of feeling emotions and experiencing new things. Let me explain. What do other villains, for example, let's say Sith in general, want in Star Wars universe?
Sorry for pausing, guys. Some of you have been reaching out asking me if I'm willing to pick off where I left off on the Star Wars The Old Republic game, because I was playing as Sith Warrior for about like 6 or 7 episodes, but then I stopped. Like I said, the main reason I stopped is because of copyright issues. Every single episode I have played in The Old Republic has been hit by at least 10 to 12 copyrights. All of them are... That game has literally used every single soundtrack from episode 1 all the way to episode 6. It is crazy. So, I mean, the game is really great and I really do enjoy it. The dialogue, the story behind it. But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to putting it on YouTube, it is the longest and most difficult challenge I have ever faced out of almost all my gameplays. So that's why I'm kind of holding off on that. But who knows, maybe one day. But I'm just saying, like, the amount of copyrights I just get hit on one video is insane.
Sith are brainwashed that you should seek more power, kill all the Jedi, and destroy the Republic. It is a goal that you as a Sith, as a person, did not come up yourself. It has been forced into you by the society that you are living in.
In my youth, Jedi were how you threatened errant children. Obey your masters or the Jedi will obliterate you.
Which makes sense for a Sith, but it is not an individual choice. Same goes for a Jedi. They do not choose what they want.
Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
Nor do they get a choice in the first place. But those who break free find their own meaning in life and a goal to strive for. If a hero encounters a Sith, you know in general what to expect. Therefore, you know how to fight that enemy.
To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not simply their
Thrawn.
tactics, but the history, philosophy.
But with Valkorion, you have no idea. Unless you're Revan.
It should not have surprised anyone that Revan turned Sith. He knew you cannot fight the dark side without understanding it.
But I'll get to that later. As far as fear of death goes, or any other
Revan.
sort of fear, it is not the way of the Sith to fear anything. It is considered a weakness. Therefore, true Sith do not fear death. By trusting in your own powers, you consider death something that will never catch up to you, until it's too late. And when it's too late, that's when you see fear.
Oh yeah, this is a great example. Right there.
Another way, leaving a legacy is a Sith way to overcome death, also by holocrons or chilling in tombs on Korriban. But
Like
what makes
Nagasadao.
Valkorion different is that he came to a conclusion that all of the above doesn't matter. All the power plays and Sith politics, because he understood that times change, empires fall, people live and die, and the only thing that is still important and worth fighting for is life itself. To live, learn, and experience life forever. The longer you live, your view and perception of life changes drastically.
When you have lived centuries, you see that everything is a pattern that grows out of itself. Sometimes you can no longer see the trees, only the roots. It is the smallest part of the price of immortality.
Let's take a look at
Makes
three
sense.
separate situations where Tenebrae was described differently. First is Revan, who has been imprisoned by an emperor and has spent 300 years in prison while also reading his mind. So if anyone knows what are the real emperor's thoughts, it's Revan. I want you to take a notice how he describes Vitiate.
You aren't the only one who's lived much longer than normal. How old is the Emperor? How does he survive?
He's seen the passage of millennia. His will to live outstrips age, disease, death itself.
Will to live, those specific words. Now let's look how he describes himself, where he constantly trying to make Outlander like him and show that they are not so different.
You are the only one who has ever matched my will to survive.
Stop comparing yourself to me.
You cannot deny we share a common foe.
Death.
Will to survive, presenting the same truth but from a different point of view. And finally, Darth Maul, a character that has no close connection to Valkorion. At least
I always
not
said that
as close as Revan.
he has a really cool outfit.
You would sooner die than acknowledge my superiority.
It is you who fears death, Valkorion. I do not. I will not kneel.
Fear of death. Both Revan and Maul are right at describing Valkorion. But both of those explanations are just a piece of one puzzle. Wanting to live forever and fear of death are generally the same thing.
Dude,
It
that
implies that you don't wish to die.
that lightning blast
The
is
motivation
crazy.
is different, and that motivation is what makes this character fascinating. Valkorion fears death not because he is scared of losing power or the Empire. He is afraid of dying because he never wants to stop experiencing life. The joy of living with different bodies over and over again throughout the eternity. Of course, everyone is afraid to lose power.
All who gain power are afraid to lose it.
But fear of losing power. for
Those hidden
Valkorion
quotes like all around the movies and everything
fear
are
of death,
insane.
not the other way around. Now let's get back to this scene. It's far more interesting than it seems. First, I want to say that Mar won this fight, even though he got killed. Obviously,
because he
not
proved
as
his
a
point.
physical fight, but rather as a psychological battle. By accepting and facing his death, Mar demonstrated a superiority over Valkorion.
That
Showing
one
that
is
what
not
he
afraid
should
of
fear
death,
the
and one
most
is.
nothing for Mar, even though Emperor dismisses it, basically describing all the Sith with it.
He was narrow-minded, bound by irrelevant ancient dogma.
Remember how Yoda died in front of Luke, teaching him final lesson that everything dies? This is the same thing for an Outlander. In theory, these should have an effect on a player and his choices to accept death just as Mar did, and therefore not to kneel.
I will share all of this with you, if you will only kneel.
You don't share anything. You enslave. You devour. I will never be part of that.
So be it.
Valkorion despises those who do not fear death, especially when he sees Outlander, his future body host, throwing himself into heroic battles over and over again, risking his life.
You have forgotten what it means to face death alone. I will remind you.
It is
Oh,
understandable
that is terrifying.
why Tenebrae despises both Jedi and Sith. From his point of view, Sith can't appreciate life as much as him, and Jedi are foolish enough not to fear death. He took what was great about both sides and threw away what was not. Valkorion lived so long that he became like a greatest psychologist. He understands everyone, he gets how you feel, what you want, and what you need. But by saying that he loves life, I'm not suggesting that he is a good person. He is a monster.
The Emperor was just a man, isolated by unimaginable power and the inability to trust the scheming sycophants who served him. I was wrong. He is a disease that must be stopped before it ravages us.
And a godlike...
So, this is how I view it. Master Yoda has lived 900 years. So he lived long, he gained a lot of knowledge, he gained a lot of wisdom. But however, as Grand Master of the Jedi Order, he shared that knowledge so that way others can better themselves and be the best version of themselves. So unlike Valkorion, he shared it. However, Valkorion also lived a long time. He gained knowledge and wisdom of power, the Force, and life and death. However, he did it so he could further his life and also further his gain and power. He did not really share it. He just kept it for himself. So those are like two different ways of seeing it. You can either share what you've learned, or you could just keep it for yourself and better yourself only.
Like being that is not there to hear your praise, but rather to shut them down forever. The beauty of Tenebrae is that you can't really win a moral argument used usually by heroes, saying that he does not understand things like love, friendship, or family, because Valkorion shares all the values of life with you, wants all the same things as you do, but difference is he wants all the life in the galaxy only for himself, and he also wants you dead. His take on his fear of death is similar to Bruce Wayne's fear of bats.
Why bats, Master Wayne?
Bats frighten me.
It's time I share my dread.
It's time my enemies shared my dread.
In the most sick way possible, he wants to share his greatest fear with everybody by consuming all life in the galaxy.
The scores of dead have nourished me.
It's like Darth Nihilus.
I am awakened, and I bring with me death.
We wouldn't have such a great villain if not for Darth Sidious and Darth Vader. Writers combined Anakin's fear of death and Palpatine's mastermind and gave us Valkorion.
Guess that is one way to see it. Now we move on to friendship and family.
As I mentioned in the beginning, friendship and family are the very core of Star Wars stories. And Star Wars The Old Republic expansions aren't any different. They explore both themes very nicely. Outlander makes an alliance and a lot of friends in his goal to take down an eternal empire, where the family drama plays out around Valkorion. It is essential for a villain in Star Wars universe to either not have a family or to be the one who killed them,
Or have
Just
family
generally
taken away
against
from you.
The idea of family at all. For example, Darth Sidious killed his entire family, Anakin kills Padme, and we all know what Kylo Ren did. Going against the family is something villains in Star Wars tend to do, and Valkoran isn't any different. By killing his own mother and father at early age, even going further and imprisoning his father's spirit in Holocron for eternity.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn, that's cruel. So kills him and refuses his father to rest in peace.
Father, your mother should have obeyed my orders and drowned you when she had the chance.
I ended
Damn.
mother's suffering long ago, but your torment is just beginning.
Your boy caged you for millennia. Take your revenge.
Through Tenebrae's death, I will earn my freedom.
I killed you once, Father. Now, my offspring will share the pleasure.
The Sacrifice trailer
Damn, that is crazy.
Carries many Star Wars themes in its short period of time. First, it is a coming-of-age story. It's about friendship, family, war, and death. Since Valkoran is the one who narrates the story, he tells us what's right or wrong. We are seeing the world from his point of view. Therefore, if we are used to knowing that friendship and family is the most important thing to fight for, and love and compassion for each other makes us stronger, from Valkoran's point of view, it's actually a weakness. He considers both Arkan and Thexan weak because they love, trust, and stand up for each other. At the end, Thexan showed weakness by saving his father, while Arkan finally overcame his and tried to kill Valkorion. Now, Emperor did not need saving, but it had to look like he did. It is a similar scene from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, drop your guard and watch it all unfold.
Window and waits for the main hero to come up on stage. It is unnecessary that Anakin and Arkan do this by themselves, make their own choice, even if it's in the heat of the moment, because once they do it, there is no going back. This is something Valkorion learned from his previous mistakes. It is not enough to simply just dominate someone's mind and make him your slave, as he did with many others, like Revan, Malak, and Hero of Tython. Those eventually broke free and caused much more trouble. When you trick people into making choices they wouldn't normally do, it is much more powerful and long-lasting than just dominating their minds with force abilities. Now we all know Palpatine.
So ironically, he created the problems and conflicts that would go against him.
It's all a trick and a trap. Both of them are banking on their victims' weaknesses. Palpatine on Anakin's fear of losing Padme, and Valkorion on Thexan's love for his brother, and strangely enough even father, which eventually pays off. Aftermath is also very similar.
What have I done?
Yeah, both of them regret what they did.
You're fulfilling your destiny, Anakin.
I still remember that from the cinematics.
Finally kills his brother, then Valkorion accepts him as the one who overcame his weakness.
Come with me, son.
Moral of the story here is that if you sacrifice what you love the most, you're finally free to have anything and nothing will hold you back. And thus you will be much stronger. It is similar what Darth Malgus does to Ili Nadaro. As two being lovers, Malgus finally decides to kill her, as he calls her his weakness. In short, basically this.
A man can have anything if he is willing to sacrifice.
Also an interesting thing, try watching Sacrifice trailer from a certain point of view. Look at it as if Valkorion only talks to Arkan and not both brothers. You might find it intriguing. As far as family goes, it is important to understand.
I guess that is another way to look at it, yeah.
About his wife Senya, while kids were just an experiment. In Valen's situation, literally. He would have taken either Arkan's or Valen's body, but both of them did not meet Valkorion's expectations. He did truly love Senya, and one can make an argument that he still does. I wouldn't disagree. Valkorion always acts differently around Senya. It feels like they really had something special.
What did you see in Valkorion that you had children with him?
You say he was a homicidal tyrant, but that isn't the man I knew. He was benevolent, wise, even kind. At least at first. Say what you will about Valkorion, but he at least considered the viewpoints of others. He listened to me, most of the time.
Until you had a kid.
My children, reduced to ruin by a parent's folly.
I know Valkorion's there. Let me speak with him one last time. Valkorion.
Senya, the kiss of Isaac warms you.
And lights your eternal flame.
You remembered.
I've never forgotten. How you sang to me on Ival's crest.
Here's another example where at the end
Interesting.
of his life, Valkorion is surrounded by everyone. But only while seeing Senya, it seems like he feels remorse.
Kneel, father! Kneel before the dragon of Zakol!
It's over. Let go. Senya.
Just like mind games.
You've turned your back on this family for the last time.
Each new life and body of Tenebrae is a path to new things to explore. In Valkorion's situation, he experienced love. Tenebrae has no obligation to the Sith, no ideology to hold him back, no boundaries that he cannot cross.
No authority but your own. No obligation but to yourself. Do not be afraid. Admit how good it feels.
Love and compassion are usually trademarks for heroes, for characters that serve good, but Tenebrae breaks those rules. This makes Valkorion much richer character.
What did you expect? You're the role model.
I was different here. Abandoning my past let me experience pleasures I denied myself before. I could know love on Zakul. Who knows? Even you may find it.
Love leads to attachment, and that leads to the dark side.
Your thinking remains limited. A pity.
Other villains tend to understand only their point of view, seeing world from one side. Those like Darth Revan and Valkorion or Grand Admiral Thrawn can also see the whole picture. Thrawn can appreciate and understand people, their culture, philosophy, and art.
That's why he's such a great tactician. He understands.
At the end, Valkorion's downfall was caused by his another weakness, arrogance. By fearing death, he kept gaining immense powers over and over again throughout the millennia to overcome it, which led for his arrogance to grow as well.
Oh yeah, thinking that no one is strong enough to defeat him.
At the end of Valkorion's inevitable defeat. Surrounded by his family and Outlander, he delivers a line that perfectly captures his arrogance and also combines with what all Star Wars villains stand against.
Look at us. One big happy family, united by our hatred of one man.
Husband.
Father.
Monster!
Say goodbye to your family.
A god has no family.
It will be a shame if this is the end of him. Valkorion known for his patience and masterfully planning his future actions, even if it takes centuries to achieve them. I don't think Valkorion is dead, mostly because of this scene.
Every time Valkorion gets taken down, he pops up again in some other form.
He is immortal, but not invulnerable.
For him to just gamble his life.
So, since this is Valkorion's father, or Tenebrae's father, however you want to call it, so that means, man, now it's coming back to me. Valkorion's original body was the red-skinned Sith, Sith pureblood that originated from Korriban. So that makes sense, because I do remember a long time ago that the Sith are not like dark Jedis originally. The Sith is originally those the red skin tentacled, kind of like tentacled faced species that are original Sith.
Life with Outlander seems just out of character, but it also would be a shame if he doesn't learn from his failures and returns again with the same goal. I would love to see Tenebrae return, but only if he understood and overcame his arrogance and overconfidence. Remember that villains change before they die. Tenebrae changed a lot after he died as Vitiate. Who knows how much he could change after Outlander killed him. If he's coming back, then he should be much more different. Maybe we will finally find out what happened to his original Sith body. I don't want to see him trying the same thing the same way a third time. I see Tenebrae living forever throughout the time, but never be in charge of empires or a main character in a galactic stage, but rather living over and over in the shadows with different bodies, showing up as some random character that just slips by in some random book or a game, and we are only left to guess if that was him. Just some ordinary farmer,
like an NPC,
a guy who you ask for directions, and as soon as you leave, you feel something that was strange about him. But he is never a main villain, similar to
like the
Ben
Bendu,
from Rebels, just minding his own business, not taking his sides, not caring. Tenebrae is such a rich character. In case he returns, he needs to change, and he needs to overcome one of the weaknesses. In this case, I think it should be arrogance and overconfidence. I see him living different lives throughout the eternity and experiencing life forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check my other videos about Valkorion. Don't forget
I already
to
saw the
subscribe,
Revan one.
Leave a like or a dislike, and let me know in the comment section what did you think. And may the Force serve you well.
That was a really great video. I mean, what I really liked about it is we finally heard commentary from the one behind DuduFilm. So one thing I learned about Valkorion is he is immortal and he cheats death not because he's able to, not because he's powerful and all that, because of his fear of death. And yeah, Valkorion is an amazing character. I guess you can learn more about him if you do play the Old Republic game, or if you just do a lot more research. But either way, Valkorion is an amazing character, and just the story of how he managed to go from body to body, and the fact that we were able to see his father was amazing too, because I never seen his father before. And besides that, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Valkorion is an amazing character. His story is amazing. His origins and how he came from who he is, killing both parents unfortunately, to becoming the Sith Emperor and one of the most powerful beings in the universe. If you guys have more information about Valkorion, please put it down in the comments below. But that's all I got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And also shout out to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. So without anything else, I'll see you guys next time.